Well, good morning.
Morning.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you both. We are on location here at beautiful Indian Riverside Park, and I'm Matt Markley. I'm CEO of Hibiscus Children's Center, and I am here this morning to simply just have a conversation with two longtime, and I would say devoted supporters of Hibiscus Children's Center, Pam Gardner and Dan Braden, and we just want to talk about. This is Hibiscus' 35th anniversary, as you folks know, and so we're trying to ratchet up some celebrations and have the community involved as well. But since you guys have been so closely dedicated to Hibiscus, we want to talk about how you get involved, how you got involved with Hibiscus, and more importantly, why you stayed all these years. So Pam, in addition to being a member of the Martin County Guild, you held the very first ever guild meeting at your home in 1992, almost 30 years ago.
Oh, goodness.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I met LaVon at our tennis club, and she had a vision, a passion that something had to be done for the children in this community that needed help, support, love, that were taken away from their family. And so a lot of dedicated people in this community got together, and we decided to form a guild and help support monetarily, volunteer-wise, anything that we could do to help support these children.
How many people were in the first guild? Do you remember?
It was about 25 or 30.
Oh, really? 25 or 30? Well,
Yeah.
where'd they come from? How did you find these folks?
Gail Harrell was involved,
Okay.
and LaVon, and me, and Linda Swaderer, and a lot of women who knew people, and they shared the same passion that we did for the kids.
So from there, how did the guild sort of get started and get rolling?
Well, we decided to have fundraisers. Linda came up with the idea of the thrift store,
Okay.
and that's very well supported.
Yeah.
And we started having fundraisers and volunteering at the shelter, and it grew because of all the passion for the people in the community that they wanted to help.
Do you know how many guild members there are today? Do you have any idea?
I would think over 60,
Wow.
and we're recruiting younger people too,
Sure.
because as we age,
Yeah. What has kept you? It's almost 30 years now since you've been involved with Hibiscus. That's a long time.
It is.
What's kept you involved?
I just think that the need of the kids, they come from unimaginable situations, and I've seen our kids and friends' kids grow up with love and support, and these kids need that, and they need guidance, they need medical care, they need love, and
Everything that Hibiscus provides.
everything that Hibiscus provides.
Yeah. Okay, well, great. Well, thank you for your service to
You're
Hibiscus.
certainly welcome.
So then we'll turn our attention to Mr. Braden. Mr. Dan Braden is a local architect, and Dan is one of the founding members of Hibiscus when it was first incorporated in 1985, and has been a board member since 1985. So Dan, can you talk a little bit about your involvement with Hibiscus?
Well, I was approached by a client who said they needed an architect because they were talking about providing this shelter. And I think I asked her what I got out of it, and she said I could be on the board. So that's what I got. I think it's hard to turn away from the mission. I mean, we've spent a lot of years. In the very beginning, there was a lot of volunteer work. Now we have a staff and a lot less need for the actual physical labor of the volunteers. I know that over the years, our board members and stuff have done everything from painting the shelter to laying sod on the shelter.
Wow, I did not know that.
Back, we used to have board work days every 6 months. And I mean, if you're out there once,
Wow.
I was out there once painting, and there was a little boy next to me who was in the shelter, and he was helping paint too, and he was 4 or 5. And we were talking and stuff, and he had marks up and down his arm from where someone had put a cigarette out on him. And he's 5. I mean, how do you walk away from that? I mean, it's hard to understand. I mean, we've been around so long that all those children now, they probably have their own children.
Right.
And hopefully they've learned to break the cycle of abuse, which has always been the biggest point, is that when you're 2 or 3 years old and you go home and your parents smack you around, as far as you know, that's normal because your friends go home and you think that happens to them. So you've got to educate the children at a young age so when they grow up, they know that that's not acceptable behavior. So you can break what we call break the cycle of abuse. And I've stayed involved because I don't want to leave. I mean, you know, it's when you're in the beginning of something, it's kind of like when you go out and make the path. You're the first guy to lay the grass down and create a path. Well, you certainly want to maintain that and keep that going.
So it just resonates with you. I mean, it's part of your identity, I think, right?
Yeah,
Would it be safe
I mean,
to
it's
say?
something that I identify with, and I grew up in a great house with great parents and siblings, and my wife and my daughter, they're all great. And I just know that some people don't have that advantage, and it's kind of sad that people heap such abuse on defenseless children. So you want to just try to get them educated so they don't do the same. It's all learned behavior, and unfortunately, probably their parents were treated the same way. So someone didn't step in time. But now, you know, some of those first kids we have are probably 45, 50 years old now.
Wow.
I mean, if
I
you
didn't
think
think about that.
35 years ago, and well, they were 12 and under, so you know they're full-grown adults with hopefully with healthy children and intelligent child-raising abilities now.
Well, we're grateful for your service as well.
No problem.
Were you involved with the initial construction of the shelter?
Yes,
And you've also been involved, you also supervised the renovation,
yes.
which,
and we
by
did
the way,
village,
is
too.
top-notch.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's top-notch.
it really is.
Turned out better than I could have even envisioned for it. So thank you for that,
Sure.
too. So, anything else you folks would like to say about Hibiscus or your involvement or the future of Hibiscus?
Well, I think there's an important thing to bring up is that at one point we had a birthday party for one of those girls, and a group of people came down from Vero Beach and they brought a pony and they gave pony rides. And at the time, Jill Borowitz, who was our CEO, and I were discussing the fact that at one point we were turning away almost 100 children a year because we didn't have space. So we had discussed group homes, and one of the people at the party was Mrs. Hensick, and she went back home and talked to her husband and explained how they had this piece of property they weren't necessarily using and that she thought they should give it to us. And so from that, we created the village in Vero Beach, which is now 8 group homes and a administration center, and that was all because the Hensicks gave us the property.
Wow.
I serve on a lot of boards, and the thing I like about Hibiscus is we don't get tied down with too much bureaucracy. From the time that Jill and I discussed the group homes to getting the property from the Hensicks, from that point it took us just under 2 years to build 8 buildings, administration center, and raise $4 million.
Wow.
And that just doesn't happen.
That's amazing.
In
That's
small
phenomenal.
groups.
Yeah,
I mean, I have other groups where you have to go through, the upper levels of the if you're in a national organization, there's always someone to answer to. And fortunately, with Hibiscus, we answer to ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're responsible for it, but we have enough intelligent people that we used to target people to be coming on our board. We needed this person, we needed this person, and we needed so many of this and so many of that.
Yeah.
And now we've evolved to the point where they're asking to come on the board instead of us trying to beg them.
Right.
I still have the opportunity when I call a plumber I know, he has this hesitation when he wants to know, he's waiting for me to ask him to go do something up the shelter for free. So you get that reputation too, but that's all right. They all suck it up and do it.
Well, we appreciate you both, and we're, we a year ago, we wouldn't have known where we were. We wouldn't have guessed where we were in terms of, the pandemic. But you guys have kept the faith through 30 and 35 years, and Hibiscus is better, our community is better for it, and we thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Sure.